The Finnish-Swedish border is the border between the countries of Finland and Sweden. Almost the entire border runs through water, along the Tornio River and its tributaries, and in the Gulf of Bothnia. Only a few kilometers of the border are on dry land. Because of the Schengen Treaty and the Nordic Passport Union, the border can be crossed mostly freely. Course of the border. In the north, the Finnish-Swedish border begins from the Treriksröset point at the border of Norway, located in the Kultajärvi lake near Kilpisjärvi, which is also the northernmost point of Sweden. The first 230 meters of the border are in straight lines and marked with border signs. The border continues as a river border, first along a small river to Kuokimejärvi, then along Kuokimejärvi to Kilpisjärvi, then along the rivers Konkamano, Muonionjoki and Tornionjoki, a total of 555.5 kilometers down to Tornio. The river border runs along the deepest parts of the rivers, and is not marked with border signs. Instead, the border location is defined by the official maps of the border protocol. There are some border markers near Tornio where the border runs on land. In Tornio, the border departs from the river. The center of Tornio is located west of the river, but belongs to Finland. The border runs in straight lines for 4.03 kilometers between the cities of Tornio and Haparanda, and from there in straight lines 25.31 kilometers as a maritime border, mostly through sea, but also through islands, including one called Katahar. In 1809, the border went between the islands Katahar and Inakari, but the post-glacial rebound has caused them to join into a single island. The border continues as a maritime border to a point in the Bothnian Bay, where the Finnish and Swedish territorial waters depart from each other. In the Bothnian Bay and the Bothnian Sea, the Finnish and Swedish territorial waters are separated by international waters. The territorial waters meet again in the Sea of Åland, where the countries have a maritime border of 15 kilometers. The border crosses the island of Market, which has a 470-meter-long, complexly shaped border marked with border signs. The international waters between the countries are divided into economic zones. The border between the economic zones mainly runs in straight lines through defined coordinate points. There have been agreements about the borders in 1972 and in 1994. The zone border continues south into the northern Baltic Sea to a point where it meets the zone border of Estonia. The tripoint between the economic zones is defined by a treaty signed in 2001. History. The Finnish-Swedish border was created in 1809 by the Treaty of Fredriksham, as Sweden ceded Finland over to Russia. The course of the border was described in the 5th article of the treaty, without great detail. The borders were agreed to be the Sea of Åland, the Gulf of Bothnia, and the rivers Tornionjoki and Muonionjoki. Islands in the sea belonged to whichever country was the nearest to them. At the mouth of the Tornio-Joki River, the Pirkio Island, the harbour of Reuter and the city of Tornio were agreed to belong to Russia. Along the rivers, the border was agreed to run along the deepest part of the river. The border ran up the Muonionjoki River and past Kilpisjärvi to Norway. Elsuvrilikors du flav muonio on passant devon muonioniska muonio offribi palojoens, kultain en ontekas, kelatijafvi, praetiko, nuimaka, raunulare kilpischora, jusquala norveg. Danslikors des rivières de Tornio et de Muonio, tel qu'uil vient de signer les îles situées à l'est-du-Talwega Pichendrone la Russie, et celle à l'ouest du Talwega la Suède. The course of the border was amended in 1810 and small changes were later made. It has caused sovereignty islands, which lie in one country but whose owners live in the other. The island of Market was decided to be split in two parts in a topographical description made in 1811. The border was decided to run through the geographical center of the island in the Treaty of Åland in 1921 and in the Treaty of Continental Plates in 1972. The Market Lighthouse, built in 1885 by Finland and operated by them, was left on the Swedish side. In 1981, the border on the island was modified into a curve to get the lighthouse on the Finnish side. The border is agreed to be regularly inspected every 25 years. During the independence of Finland, inspections have been made in 1926, 1927, 1956, 1957, 1981 and 2006. These inspections include inspecting the course of the border, repairing the border signs if needed, and defining the location of the deepest parts of the river through aerial and terrestrial photography. Especially in the wide, sand-banked areas of the rivers, the deepest parts shift in location. If the deepest part has shifted, the border may be shifted accordingly. For example, in the 2006 inspection, the border was shifted in many places, usually by 10 to 20 meters, but in some places up to 100 meters. A similar total area was moved from one country to another in both directions. Traffic. Because both Finland and Sweden are part of the Schengen area, the border may be crossed anywhere. If the traveler is carrying goods to be declared through customs, the border may still be crossed anywhere, but the traveler must contact customs to declare his/her goods. Through the entire river border, near the eastern shore, the Finnish National Road 21, European Route T8 runs between Tornio and Kilpisjärvi. The Swedish National Road 99 runs near the western shore along most of the border. Bridges across the river border can be found in Karesuvanto, Karesuando, Muonio, Kolari, Pello and in Arvasaksa, over Tornio. There are also 2 river bridges in Tornio, but they don't cross the border. The border is crossed by 3 roads in Haparanda, Tornio. South of the center, the Tornio River Railway Bridge crosses the river and the border. In Haparanda, Tornio, there is a bus station common to both cities, which was opened in 2014 and is located on the Swedish side near the border.